It was the kind of moment no one could have predicted, and one that has left the gospel world holding its breath. Pastor Shirley Caesar, the legendary First Lady of gospel music, collapsed unexpectedly during a public appearance, sending shockwaves across her community and beyond. A night that began in celebration quickly turned into one of fear, confusion, and desperate prayers. For decades, Shirley Caesar has been the voice of resilience, carrying millions through their darkest hours with her music and ministry. But on this night, the roles were suddenly reversed. The woman known for giving strength to others became the one in need of it. With headlines screaming about her hospitalization and fans anxiously awaiting updates, the question on everyone's mind is simple: what really happened to Pastor Shirley Caesar? The collapse happened suddenly, and it unfolded before a crowd that could hardly believe what they were witnessing. Shirley was attending a special church event, a service filled with music, testimonies, and joy. For much of the evening, she had been her radiant self, sharing laughter and exchanging warm embraces with attendees. But midway through the program, her smile began to fade. According to witnesses, Shirley seemed unsteady as she moved toward the podium. She placed a hand on it for support, her voice catching slightly as she began to speak. Within moments, she crumpled to the ground. Gasps echoed through the sanctuary, followed quickly by shouts of panic. Some rushed forward, while others clasped hands in frantic prayer circles. A witness described it as the most terrifying moment of their life, seeing the gospel legend brought low in such a vulnerable state. Emergency services were called immediately, and within minutes, paramedics were on the scene. They assessed her condition with urgency, gently placing her onto a stretcher as the stunned congregation looked on. Tears streamed down faces, phones buzzed with frantic updates, and videos began surfacing online almost instantly. By the time Shirley was transported to the hospital, her name was trending across social media platforms, with fans worldwide expressing shock and devastation. As the initial shock spread, speculation began to swirl. What could have caused the sudden collapse? Witnesses recalled seeing her appear fatigued earlier that day, though no one could have guessed the severity of the situation. Some attendees noted that the event itself had been demanding, with long hours and intense energy that could wear on anyone, let alone someone who has been pouring out her spirit on stage and in ministry for decades. The fact that the collapse happened during a public event only heightened the concern. Cameras were rolling, attendees were filming, and before long, clips of the incident were being replayed endlessly online. Some claimed they saw her clutch her chest, fueling rumors of heart complication. Others suggested exhaustion or dehydration, pointing out the physical toll of constant travel and ministry commitments. Theories ran wild: stroke, low blood sugar, high blood pressure, each one more frightening than the last. But official voices urged restraint. Family members released a brief message through representatives, asking the public to remain calm and resist speculation until doctors completed their evaluations. One family friend reportedly said, "Right now the only thing that matters is prayer and patience. Pastor Caesar is in good hands." Still, the lack of concrete details left the door wide open for rumors, and the internet was more than willing to fill in the gaps. To understand why this incident hit so hard, one must understand who Shirley Caesar is to her fans, her community, and to gospel music as a whole. Born in Durham, North Carolina, Shirley discovered her gift for singing at a young age and dedicated her life to ministry. Over the course of a career spanning more than half a century, she has released dozens of albums, won multiple Grammy Awards, and earned recognition as one of the most influential gospel artists in history. But her impact extends far beyond accolade. Her songs are anthems of hope for people who have walked through life's storms. Pieces like No Charge and Hold My Mule have resonated across generations, serving as sources of comfort and inspiration during times of struggle. In every performance, Shirley exudes conviction, turning stages into pulpits and audiences into congregations. Her resilience has been tested before. She has faced personal losses, grueling schedules, and the natural toll of age, but time and again, she has come back stronger. Fans recall her pushing through challenges with unwavering faith, often using her own trials as testimonies. That history of strength made the sight of her collapse even more jarring. To see Shirley Caesar, the woman who never seemed to falter, Suddenly vulnerable was to be reminded of her humanity, something that fans had rarely seen so starkly. With little official information at first, the rumor mill went into overdrive. Some blogs claimed Shirley had been battling undisclosed health issues for months, pointing to her reduced public appearances earlier in the year. Others suggested she had been advised by doctors to slow down, but had refused, insisting she still had work to do for the kingdom. One whisper alleged, "She's been ignoring the warning signs. She just keeps going and going." Another thread of gossip hinted at a more personal angle. Insiders speculated that the demands of balancing ministry, music, and public appearances had taken a toll, not just physically but emotionally. While no concrete evidence supported these whispers, the image of Shirley pushing herself beyond her limits quickly took hold among fans. In the absence of facts, narratives emerged, some painting her as a tireless warrior who simply gave too much of herself, others framing her as someone who ignored medical advice for the sake of her calling. These rumors, while dramatic, underscore a truth many close to her have acknowledged. Shirley Caesar has always put others first, sometimes at the expense of her own health. A fellow gospel artist reportedly shared off the record, "She never says no. She'll sing, preach, counsel and minister until she's worn herself out. That's who she is, but that's also why we worry." After hours of silence, official updates finally began to emerge, offering a measure of relief to her worried supporter. A family spokesperson confirmed that Shirley was stable and under observation, though doctors were running a series of tests to determine the exact cause of her collapse. The statement emphasized that she was alert and receiving excellent care, but stopped short of giving specifics. Soon after, Shirley's representatives released a message of gratitude on behalf of the family. "We want to thank everyone for the overwhelming outpouring of love and prayers. Pastor Caesar is resting comfortably and surrounded by family. We ask for continued prayers as she recovers." This reassurance eased some fears, but fans still hungered for details. Was this merely a temporary setback, or a sign of something more serious? In the days that followed, reports suggested that doctors were optimistic about her recovery, though they stressed the importance of rest and reduced commitment. The prospect of Shirley stepping back from her relentless schedule became a topic of discussion, raising questions about what the future might hold for her ministry and career. If there was any silver lining to this frightening incident, it was the sheer outpouring of love that followed. Within hours, churches across the nation held prayer vigils, dedicating services to Shirley's healing. Gospel radio stations played her music non-stop, with DJs encouraging listeners to call in and share stories of how her songs had touched their lives. Social media became flooded with messages of hope, with hashtags like "Pray for Shirley Caesar" trending worldwide. Fellow gospel artists were among the first to rally. Tamila Mann, Kirk Franklin, and Yolanda Adams all posted heartfelt messages, reminding fans of Shirley's powerful legacy while asking for continued prayer. Even outside the gospel world, celebrities and politicians voiced their support, acknowledging her influence as not just a singer but a cultural and spiritual leader. The response underscored the depth of Shirley Caesar's impact. She is more than an entertainer, she is a vessel of hope, a living testimony of faith's endurance. And in this moment of vulnerability, the same community she spent her life uplifting rose up to uplift her. Fans across generations declared that they owed her prayers, because she had given them so much strength through her music. Today, Shirley Caesar's story remains one of uncertainty. While official reports describe her condition as stable and improving, the future is still unclear. Will she return to the stage with the same vigor that has defined her career, or will this collapse mark a turning point, prompting her to step back and prioritize her health? What cannot be denied is the significance of this moment. It has reminded fans of Shirley Caesar's humanity, even as they celebrate her extraordinary legacy. The collapse was frightening, but the love that followed was overwhelming, a testament to the bond she shares with those who have followed her journey. For now, the world waits, holding its breath and whispering prayers. The Queen of Gospel has given decades of strength, love and music to millions. Now, as she rests and heals, that love and strength is being returned to her. But the lingering question remains: will Pastor Shirley Caesar rise once more to reclaim her place at the center of gospel music, or has the time come for her to embrace a new chapter of rest? What do you think about this news? Let us know in the comments below.